We are live with Lunch Break Live. Lucia, vegan lifestyle brand creator. Take it away. Let's start cooking.
Hi everyone, I am going to make a recipe called Ribollita, which is a classic Tuscan recipe, and the star of it is stale bread. So what we're going to do first is take this beautiful, colorful mix of sofrito, right? It's onions, garlic, carrot, celery, the base of many different recipes, and we're going to toss it in some heated, beautiful, I can smell it, extra virgin olive oil. And we're going to saute that very on medium heat for about 5 to 7 minutes until the onions get transparent and the veggies are cooked a little bit golden. So while this happens, I will tell you the other stars of this dish. Greens. I am a greens addict. I love greens. So the main very important ingredient of Ribollita, because it's from Tuscany, is lacinato kale. So I should have left one whole, but these are the long kale, the one that's kind of like the lizardy texture. So lacinato, or some people might call it lacinato kale, is the Tuscan kale. And now while this is sauteing, I want to tell you the other greens. We use some Swiss chard, which is another green that I love, and it calls for Savoy cabbage, but I'm using Chinese cabbage just because I love the taste of it and the texture. So those are the 3 greens. The other star of this, because everyone's always asking vegans, where do we get our protein? Beans, cannellini, white, the small white beans. So we're going to do something fun with that. This recipe is a bit involved, but it's very easy and very delicious. Now, the reason why I chose this recipe, I guess you can tell from my name, Lucia, that I'm of Italian heritage. My parents were born in Calabria, which is very southern Italy. So Tuscany is in the north. And the reason why I have this recipe on my mind today is because I'm hosting a vegan tour of Tuscany in June. So I've been thinking of all things Tuscan vegan, curating this trip for everyone who's coming along. Another thing I like about this recipe is that it's from the cucina povera tradition. Cucina povera means peasant kitchen, or impoverished or poor kitchen or poor cuisine, because these recipes are no waste, which is another thing I love. Besides being inherently vegan, these recipes are no waste, and they are also from the cucina povera, which means the kitchen, let's say, or the cuisine of the impoverished, because poor people get inventive and frugal and create these recipes that to us today seem like these lush, rich recipes. So whereas they used what was available to them, today we might think of kale as a bougie ingredient. So
That's so funny. Hey, we have people who are asking to see the kale. Can you bring it up a little closer?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That would be amazing. And we're wondering, so we have a few folks who are saying, is that dinosaur kale? They're just curious.
Exactly. Dinosaur kale, yes.
Wow.
So I chopped it already. So they're these pretty long leaves of kale. I took a photo of the ingredients and I left these intact. So when we post this onto the website, you'll be able to see exactly what they are.
Tom wants you to know that there aren't many vegan Sicilians. He's one of a few, maybe the only one. So he wanted to say, hi, Lucy.
Hi. Ciao, ciao. And I'd say, I don't know if you speak Italian, but viva il sud, which means long live the South. The South is like, oh, it's such a warm, all of Italy is so beautiful. But yes, Sicily is in my heart because my parents are right across the Strait of Messina. So, and there are vegans in Sicily, and there are actually some traditional Sicilian recipes that are vegan. So maybe some other time we can we can show
We
one of
would
those.
love it. We would love it, Lucia. Now, can we see what's happening in that pan?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's
So
looking
this is the
colorful.
sofrito. If you're just tuning in, it's a mixture. Can you see that? It's a mixture of garlic, onion, carrot, and celery. And it's just sauteing in some lovely olive oil. And that's going to take a few more minutes. It's almost done. So I think right now what we can do is toss in the next ingredient, which is potato. And accompanying that is our herb for today, which is thyme. And I have some sprigs, so I'll show you exactly what those look like. But we toss the potato in, and we'll saute that for a couple of minutes.
Now, I want you to know that Bonita Martinez says hello.
Hello, Bonita. Hola. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás?
And Tom wants you to know that they only taught him his relatives bad words. So
We're not going to get into those right now. But Tom, we can do some Sicilian, and then we can teach you some of the good words, okay? And Tom, I think you might have prompted the opportune moment for me to reveal why this is a ribollita with an LVL, Lucia's vegan lifestyle twist. Speaking of the South, my parents are from Calabria, so one special ingredient to me, being a spicy woman, is the peperoncino. So I'm going to add some of this to my ribollita. You don't have to if you don't like spicy food, because this recipe is incredible on its own, but I love to add my peperoncino wherever I can. If you touch it like that, if you do use it and you touch it like that, be sure to wash your hands immediately, because I have rubbed my eyes and been like, what is that? So be sure to wash your hands immediately. So our potatoes are sauteing, can you see that? With the sofrito and the thyme. And I'll show you what the thyme looks like. This is thyme. Oh, it smells almost, it's almost like an oregano kind of, you know, in that kind of family, very herby and very healing to smell. I'm the one who goes to the grocery store and smells the basil and the tomatoes and just basks it in while everyone looks at me like I'm insane. But I grew up with rural Italian parents who grew their own veggies, and my grandparents who grew their own veggies. So these things are very special to me. So this is nice. I pre-cooked my potatoes, which the recipe does not call for that, but I wanted to do the fast version of this for you guys. So now that the potatoes are pretty much getting golden, we can add in the next ingredient, which is tomato. This is a nice vine-ripened tomato to honor my grandfather's garden, my nonno's garden. So there we go. We're going to saute that in just for a few seconds, because now I'm going to show you just for a few seconds. Okay. And now we can add the star of the show. The lacinato kale goes in. The Swiss chard goes in. I'm putting too much. I'm a greens addict. I love greens. The cabbage goes in. And now what we're going to do is pour in the liquid reserved from the beans. So you can make this with dried beans, you know, that you soak overnight and you do that whole process. And when I give the detailed recipe, I'll include the instructions for that. But I use pre-cooked beans, which is not, I don't know if any Tuscans are tuning in and you're getting scandalized, but I use the pre-cooked beans, which is fine. And I'm using the liquid from that. So we're going to stir this in, stir it together. Oh God, it smells so good. I wish you guys were here. Actually, I'll give you my address. You can come over.
Bountiful. It looks so bountiful. And back on that comment, someone was saying that they stop and smell the beautiful herbs and things at their farmer's market. Right. So if you don't grow your own, head to your local farmer's market if you are able. This is incredible. Now, I want to talk about the Lucia vegan lifestyle brand that you've created. You cover all kinds of really fun vegan events around the nation, and you're located in New York, headed to Italy for this incredible. How do people find out about this? What do you still have openings?
Oh my God, yes, there are still slots left. It's it's going to be a very intimate trip. Thank you for asking. So if you're just tuning in, I mentioned before, and Paige just mentioned it, that I am hosting a vegan tour of Tuscany in June 2022. And it's going to be exquisite. We're going to go to a vegan winery. We're going to stay at a vegan villa with luscious vegan food. We're going to visit an Italian animal sanctuary. We're going to go to a spa. We're going to have a food tour, a vegan food tour of Florence, and so much more cooking lessons, so much stuff. So you can, to make it easy, you can just go to my website, luciaveganlifestyle.com, LUCIA veganlifestyle.com. And I think right at the very top of the website is the photo of our villa where we'll be staying. And you can just click on that and it'll take you to the booking page. And you can ask me any questions if you have any. You can write to the tour guides who are arranging all of this. They're lovely people, so they're there for you if you have any questions. And I'm actually offering a $200 exclusive discount for social media viewers. So
wow,
yeah, and there are a few rooms left with private terraces with incredible views. So if you book now, you will get your choice of room.
Okay, now we do have a quick question. Kim Delgado would like to know, would this be good in a crock pot or an Instapot if somebody has one of those?
Oh, Kim, I've used a rice cooker, but I have never used either of those. I couldn't see why. Maybe the bread might get too mushy, but you know what? I'll show you the bread. I toasted my bread because this bread, I'll show you again, it's nice and dense. This is a little bit stale. I bought it a couple of days ago. It's a flax spelt country bread. So it's really nice and dense already. So I don't think it would get too mushy. But I toasted mine because I like this golden, this goldenness to it and a little bit of crunch. So it doesn't get too mushy. So I would say go for it. I mean, we're always experimenting. That's how cuisine is created. So I think you can try it out and send us photos to let us know. If you do it, please tag us in photos so we can see how it came out. Oh my God, look at this, you guys. Oh God, I wish you could smell. I wish you could smell.
Colors, look at this, everybody. Now, how do you pronounce the name of the dish?
And I'm going to tell you what it means as well. So, ribollita. Ribollita means reboiled or recooked or reheated. So as I mentioned before, this is from cucina povera, impoverished cuisine or poor cuisine, where the impoverished, being frugal and no waste, they couldn't waste anything. So they got invented and created these recipes. Another thing that you'll find interesting is that this dish was usually prepared for Fridays, which they call venerdì magra, lean Friday, right? Because they had so little meat, right? So we would call this today, I think, lean Friday or meatless Friday. So ribollita, because you put this dish together, and I'm doing the faster version of it for you, you're supposed to cook this for about 2 hours to 4 hours, then cover it. I'll show you the steps. Then cover it and let it sit for another 4 hours, or preferably overnight. And then you ribolla it the next day. You reheat it the next day, and it is just hearty and flavorful and delicious. While this is boiling, we're going to take our other star of the show, our cannellini beans, our white beans. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll lift it up a little bit. But we're going to take half of these, about half, and we are going to mash them. so we get a nice creamy consistency. Already it's going to be creamy with the bread inside, but with these mashed beans, it's going to add a little bit of a more creaminess to it. Okay. You don't have to mash it like completely, it's not hummus, but just a little bit to leave them, to get them nice and creamy. So we'll toss those in here. So now technically you're supposed to let these half of the beans cook for a half hour. I'm going to put some veg broth in this. Put some veg broth to help it along cooking. And I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit to help it along. Okay, great. Good. And here you can add salt and pepper to taste. And my veggie broth is already, it's low sodium, but it's already salted. So I'm gonna taste it now, just to cheat, because I love tasting my food as I go along. But I'm gonna test the salt.
We love it. We love it. And I gotta tell you, we have Tom who's saying more segments with Lucia, please, right?
Oh, that's sweet of you. Oh, I would be, look, I am already so honored to be invited to be on here. So it would be my absolute pleasure and honor to do this again with you guys. Absolutely.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Okay, we're going to take it back to you. This is a true Italian dish, y'all. This is made straight from New York by way of your heritage, your Italian heritage. Thank you so much for being here. And okay, let's see. Back to you. We've got a few more minutes here.
Okay.
Take it away.
So now, technically, you're supposed to cook that half of the mashed beans for a half hour. And I have a lot of beans here. So we'll put the other, well, I'm not going to put the whole half here because when I'm done showing you guys this, I'll complete it so that I can take a photo and show you what the final dish will really look like. This is just a tease. So I'm going to add more of the beans. And I'm going to add my secret, my special twist ingredient. I didn't add salt because like I mentioned, my veggie broth was already salted. So I'm just going to add some black pepper. Freshly ground is better, of course, but for the sake of being quick, do that. And my special LVL, Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle twist, my Calabrian peperoncino, spicy Calabrian pepper, which again, it is not traditional to the recipe. So only if you're a spicy person like me, you can toss it in. But the dish is incredible on its own. So now that I have the little kick in there, I'm going to show you the pretty part while this cooks. Now, you see this thing? We want to talk about my Italian heritage. This, I don't know what it's called in proper Italian, but this is my tiesto. I think my parents are tuned in. So mommy, daddy, if you're there, you can type in the proper pronunciation. My tiesto that I got in Calabria. And actually they have these all over Italy. So it's just a clay pot. And now we're going to take the star of the show, the bread, the stale bread, and we're going to layer our pot with it. Okay? Layer the pot. There we go, pretty slices. And even though this is not completely done yet, I'm just going to show you how this dish is assembled. Can you see that? Okay. So now you have your slices of stale, but I'm going to put a smaller one there so it fits better. Little puzzle. Okay. So we've got the stale bread in there, in the clay pot. And you can use, if you don't have a clay pot, of course, you can use a glass pot or dish, because it has to, did I tell you this? It has to soak overnight. So, or for 4 hours or overnight. So here we go. Look at how pretty this is.
Wow. Oh, so beautiful and bountiful.
Isn't it just colorful too? Like those gorgeous. I love that saying, eat the rainbow, right? And this is, I added the red onion, so we would have the purple in there. And you know what? In Calabria, where my parents are from, there's an onion called cipolla di tropea onions, which I'm going to turn this off because it's really cooking, which are red, just like the red onions that we see in the US, but they're sweet. So those would be like, as they say in Rome, la morte sua, its own death, because it's so perfect. So we layer more bread on this. Can you see? We layer more bread on this. Like that, like so. And then, yeah, and then you just keep adding it on top.
Ah, now, I think you said you wait to eat it, you let it soak in overnight, then do you put it back in the oven?
No, you don't put it back in the oven. You let it soak overnight, and then you just heat it on the stove.
Wow.
Yeah, easy, easy, easy.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
Oh
now
my goodness.
and then
Now,
all you do.
now while you're cooking, I'm sorry, go ahead, because I definitely want to talk about how you came up with the concept of your brand. It's so fun. Oh my goodness, look at this, everybody.
So then you would cover this with foil and let it sit for another 3 or 4 hours. But this is after you cook it slowly for like 2 to 3 hours, okay? Slowly pouring the broth in, the veg broth in to help the veggies cook and add all that flavor in. So this is what it will look like pretty much, just a little bit more mushy. But my God, it is so delicious. You know what inspired me to, what I love about this dish as well is because 2 of my favorite childhood dishes involve stale bread as well. One was my nonno, my grandfather's favorite breakfast, which everyone, all the other kids thought was weird, but I thought it was very interesting. But I think I'll surprise you guys, and I think I'll make these and I'll post them to my Instagram and here on Facebook, so that you can actually have them. So one is another one that involves the stale bread and Swiss chard that my Mama Maria and my Papa chef, who you've met on my show if you've watched it, they used to make it for me as a kid, and it was just it remains one of my favorite. Another cucina povera, poor cuisine dish, and then my grandfather's breakfast, which now we can have vegan. I'm gonna make it and show you guys because it's come on, right? Stale bread, but we talk so much about no waste these days, right? And I cannot stand the idea of wasting food. So my sister, who's an actual blue ribbon chef, calls me the leftover queen because I always manage to create new dishes from leftovers. So ribollita, a dish made traditionally from leftovers, is the perfect Lucia vegan lifestyle vegan dish.
Wow. Okay. Well, we have new people joining every minute, so I think we'll wrap up. Just give us a quick overview, if you don't mind. Show us what you made here, and we'll head out with that. We're so grateful you joined us. We absolutely can't wait to have you back. And Tom's come up with a list of things he'd love to see you make.
Yes, thank you. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna look at that list and get on.
Okay, take it away.
So smell this, you guys.
Woo!
So this, oh God, I can't stop smelling it. You've lost me. This is called ribollita, which means re-cooked, because it's a cucina povera, poor cuisine dish from Tuscany, where I'm hosting a vegan tour in June. So it's the star of it is stale bread and lacinato or Tuscan kale, and lots of greens, white beans, cannellini beans. This one with a Lucia's vegan lifestyle twist, I added some Calabrian hot pepper.
Well, we just stay put with that dish. We are so excited. Can't wait to have you back. Head over to janeunchained.com to get this recipe and thousands of others. But you're also going to want to head over to luciasveganlifestyle.com to find out all of her offerings, as well as head to her Instagram, y'all. This is just, oh my gosh. Miriam wants you to know she swears she can smell it.
Hold on before we go. Hold on. I wish the bread was cooked enough. But here you go, Mary. Here you go.
Amazing. Looks amazing and delicious. Look at this. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Buon appetito. Buon appetito.
Bon appetito.
May you have a good appetite.
Oh, we just appreciate you so much. And head over, if you want to go to Italy with Lucia, you're going to head over there and find out more from her website. Wow, wow, and double wow, wow, a vegan Italian experience, sign me up. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. And we'll see you next time, everybody, on Jane Unchained. JaneUnchained.com. Head over there and take a look at the recipe and more. We appreciate you all for watching daily, 12:30 to 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. Tom is definitely saying more segments, please, please, please. And baci, is that how you say it? How do you say it?
Yes. So you already know Italian. You better just come with us. Baci, baci, sì, baci.